Thank you so much for joining in today. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Oops. And we will get started. Okay. Okie dokie. So today we're going to be talking about what you should be doing on Instagram right now. Can everybody see my screen okay? Does that the Zoom box, is it blocking things, Adrian? I am having, are you there, Adrian? Okay, sorry. Let me just move this because it's bothering me.
Hey, Ashley, sorry I was muted.
Sorry.
Yes, we're good.
Oh, okay. I got
it. Looks good. I was writing in the chat, my bad.
I got it. I figured it out. Okay.
And I have my video off just to make sure that everything goes smoothly with the connection, but I'm right here.
Alrighty. Thank you for checking in. Okay. So right now, I know things are a little bit weird, but we're going to be covering what you should be posting on Instagram right now, what you should be doing to get more engagement and sales. So a little bit about me. I would just call myself a Instagram strategist and coach. I wasn't always that. I'm a serial entrepreneur, so I've started some of the different projects and companies and things, but one thing that those all have in common is the need to market your business. And I find that Instagram is one of the easiest ways to really build connections with your audience and have community and not feel like you're being really salesy and sleazy, but it's meaningful relationship. So that's our end goal today with Instagram, is to build those relationships and make sales. And we'll talk about how we can do that. So I know right now with the way things are, it's so easy to get caught up in just consuming content right now, but we really need to be creating content and engaging with our followers on Instagram and not just being this content consumption zombie and just scrolling and constantly scrolling with just looking at other people's content. Your followers still need to hear from you right now. In some way, they can benefit from hearing from you, from your product, from your service. Anything you can offer them right now is going to be a huge impact on their lives. Buying habits have actually changed because of COVID-19. A lot of people they see more value in shopping local and supporting small businesses because of the loan structures that are happening right now and all the closures. So we really want to utilize this time to either sell our product or start prepping to sell a product or a service. Don't be tone deaf about COVID either. Like, it's important to speak to it in some way. If your daily process has changed because of COVID and quarantining at home, or you've just realized different things are more important to you because of staying at home and certain things have been taken away in that regard. Or if you've discovered that you're an introvert thriving in isolation, whatever, just be relatable and real when you speak to COVID. You don't have to share the stats and daily things like that or get real political with it, but we want to be able to be relatable and real when we do speak on those things and not gloss over it. Quick pro tip, I'll have these like sprinkled throughout. Being intentional with your time on Instagram is going to be really important in order for you to make more sales. And being intentional is the opposite of being the content consumption zombie. You really need to be engaging with your audience, interacting, posting content that was designed to help them in some way. And we'll talk about how to do that in a little bit, but this will make your time on Instagram more meaningful, and it won't feel as though you're spinning your wheels and not getting any traction, and then you get discouraged and kind of give up on Instagram as a marketing tool. So keep that in mind as you're building out your strategy and as we go through the presentation today that being intentional will get you success in the long run. So before we jump into the things that you should be doing, let's chat about the 3 things that just don't work on Instagram anymore and why they don't work. So number 1, hiding behind a curated feed on Instagram. For one, Instagram has changed as a platform. The way they prioritize content over others has changed. The way they connect other users to get your content more in front of more people has changed. So just posting pretty pictures isn't going to be enough anymore. You've got to have some more value within your caption than the content that you're sharing in your stories. It's more of a long game form of marketing versus just posting the highlights of your life or your business. Quick Instagram sanity tip here. You don't have to have 10,000 followers in order to be successful on Instagram. We need to stop obsessing about vanity metrics, aka your follower count, your likes count. Things like that just aren't really what we're looking for in regards to success on Instagram. What we're really looking for is sales for your product, signups for your newsletter, some kind of marketable action that makes you makes you money or moves your business forward is what our goal on Instagram should be, not building a follower base of 100,000 people. So once we've got that nailed down and understood, we can really build a strategy that is more meaningful to us as a whole and to our business, and doesn't feel sleazy or vain in a way. And lastly, posting and not sticking around. Think of Instagram not as a photo sharing app, but as a storytelling platform. That way you feel more meaning behind your posts and connecting with your audience and other users on Instagram. Everybody has a story, and that story can relate to somebody else, help them in some way, speak to them in some way. So we can't just post pretty pictures and then bounce off the platform. We've got to create connection with other people and create community. So 3 things that you should be doing on Instagram, specifically right now, but in general, these things will help grow your following, grow your sales in general. Keep or start posting what feels right for you right now, right for your business, right for your audience. Don't feel like you should just stop speaking because you don't really know what to say. We really need to continue to post and be there and be authentic on Instagram. You can get an idea of what your audience needs just by reading through some of the comments that are on your feed, or by even asking what they are looking for or what they need at this time through stories. You can add a question or a poll, anything like that, to get some feedback and see how you can be of service to your audience. Keep or start responding to comments in your feed. A lot of business owners feel weird about commenting or replying to comments, especially if you're an introvert. It can feel a little weird, but we really need to engage with our audience. Like, they're taking the time to engage with us on our posts. We need to step up and show that we're not just this mythical being behind a screen, that we're an actual real person and care about them as a follower of ours. And this also helps build trust with your audience. When we do start selling things, we want to have a base of trust before they purchase from us. That'll make things a lot easier when we do want to make sales, because then they feel like they know us, they trust us, and they can trust us with their purchases. keep or start engaging with your where your ideal followers are hanging out. So this is a big one on kind of getting more exposure for your account, is engaging outside of your profile, outside of your feed. And we'll talk about how we can do this. But there are 3 main areas that you can do this. You can do this in the hashtags, you can target accounts, and then you can do it in the locations or places tab. So engagement, there's a right way and a wrong way to do engaging on this aspect. We really want to do it again in an authentic and meaningful way. We don't want to just spam people with likes and follows and comments, and we really want to be targeted and specific and strategic about how we target accounts, because we really want to get those people that we can help the most to be our follower. Okay, let's chat about some types of content that we can post here. The best way to think about these is as a broad kind of category. So an educational content type of post would be you're teaching a lesson, you're showing behind the scenes, you're showing a tutorial, you're giving value to your audience through an educational aspect of your business, your life, anything like that. We want to teach them something about your brand or your business, or it could teach them something that they can implement within their life or their own business. We really want to not hold back here. Transparency is going to go a long way to build trust with your audience. So just showing the back end and what it looks like to work with you, what it looks like to run through your process, anything like that is going to be of huge value to your audience. Next up is inspirational. So this one it could be one of the more topical ones right now, inspiring through your own story or a story of others, really giving value on what that looks like as far as where you were, where you are now. It could be where your client was and where your client is now, and how your product or service helped them get to where they are. Anything like that. There's a lot of what is the word I'm looking for? There's a lot of potential there. Escapist content is kind of a fun new one. This is really good for makers, creators, artists, anything where you're making a physical thing. So this is usually done through like a time-lapse video or slow motion video, anything like that. It's like ASMR for your brain and your eyes. I find myself get stuck through into a rabbit hole when I watch these. They're a lot of them are like digital design ones. They're just fun to watch. I love them. But next up is challenging. This one is going to be really good to post before you start selling, because we can use our content to really challenge beliefs or misconceptions around purchasing, our niche, anything that goes along with what's holding people back before they buy from you. Or it could be about your product, it could be about themselves, beliefs about themselves, just general information that just isn't true or helpful to get your client or your business moving forward. Sorry, I'm getting out of breath. Challenging content really addresses beliefs that hold them back in some way. Promotional, so obviously this one's making a direct offer, having them announcing a sale, having them do some kind of action that is either a purchase or a sign up or getting on a discovery call, anything along those lines. We don't want to shy back when we make promotional posts. a lot of the times people are willing to purchase from us where we just feel weird about it and sleazy and like we shouldn't really be selling. But if your audience doesn't really know what you're selling, then your business can't really move forward. So we really need to be direct. We don't want to be spammy and be selling 24/7, but we do want to make an effort in posting promotional content and putting our stuff out there for purchase. So take action. Make a list of 2 to 3 types of content that we just covered that you can commit to creating and posting for the next 4 weeks. I'll go back for just a second so you can kind of look through those again. And educational, inspirational, escapist, challenging, and promotional. Okay, let's go. Pro tip, schedule your posts. Planning and scheduling your posts ahead of time is going to save you so much time, brain power, energy, sanity. It'll save you so much. So I always recommend people schedule their posts using a scheduling tool. There are a lot out there. My favorite one is called Later. They have an awesome free account. You get 30 posts a month for free. You get a little bit of analytics data. You can plan visually the feed. It's amazing, but 30 posts a month for free is plenty when you're first starting out, and I highly recommend that you jump on it. Oh shoot, posting likely won't get you the engagement that you're looking for. It likely won't be high quality. You won't feel great about it. When you're planning your content ahead of time, you can kind of batch your captions and get into this writing mode and really get like a streamlined week of posts done really quickly and feel great about it. So, all right, let's talk about types of captions. So one of the biggest issues that I hear from my audience is like they don't know what to write into their captions or what to include, what to talk about. And these are kind of more structurally how you can categorize them. Short and sweet is usually pretty short. Obviously, it's just one sentence because your post usually tells majority of the story. Usually it's a video. It could be a carousel of images, but you're really just reiterating what's in the video with this one. Paragraph, so this one's a little bit longer. It's 3 to 4 sentences. It's just a quick thought or idea. We really want them to stop and read what our caption says. Hopefully will engage within the comments because we prompted them to or asked them to. Long form or micro blog. So this is a great way to share your personal story, your story about your client, your how to show your process, what it likes to work with you, challenging misconceptions. This is a more meaty caption, and I'm seeing this one done a lot more and more, and they're one of my favorite captions to really dive into. They're just more engaging in general, and we'll look at some examples here in a little bit, but a lot of the examples I have, the people, they're not holding back in their content. They're really giving it all out there, which is great. Okay. So this is a ceramic artist. He, I think he lives in England, but he's one of my favorite accounts to follow because he does a lot of these long form comments, long form captions, and it's really educational. He's not afraid to share his process with other people, other artists. He answers almost every comment or question that he gets in his comments. which is amazing. But right here, he's the video, he's showing trimming, throwing, and glazing a bowl. And he talks about the glaze, why it's red, when it fires green, and answers questions that people ask. And it's just, I really love how he does his captions. He does not hold back at all, but he really covers his process in depth when making these bowls. Inspirational. I really loved this post by this Dallas photographer. She talks about how she really didn't like having her own photo taken as a photographer, and how as a business owner she got more and more used to needing to have pictures of herself, and really gained more confidence and more acceptance of herself through this process of having to take her own or get her own pictures taken. A lot of her clients, I'm sure, go through the same issue of not really feeling comfortable in front of the camera, or feeling photogenic, or feeling like they could even take good pictures. And she really challenges those misconceptions and really inspires you to be more comfortable. And a lot of her clients will share highlights or share screenshots of she'll share screenshots from text messages with her clients on their reviews and what they say. And a lot of this is centered around her making them feel so much more comfortable. And I'm sure that's just through her getting more comfortable herself and really knowing what to look for when someone isn't comfortable. So it was just a really great way to really set up her promotional post by sharing this inspirational story. Just a good way to get some strategy going on your Instagram feed. So this one is an escapist, and I'm bummed I can't show the video, but it's a time-lapse video of this person creating this drawing on their iPad. It lasted maybe 15 to 20 seconds. You can have up to 60-second videos on your feed, but I watched it probably 3 or 4 times because it was just really cool to watch. And then he talks about the app that he uses on there and his whole process. Like, during this time, he recently started working through the night, which was interesting. So this was just a drawing that kind of reiterated that in a way. It was very interesting and engaging. So this post is challenging misconceptions, and she sells directly, of course, in the next post, but she's really addressing misconceptions and ideas that her clients may have before they purchase, and why her product would be the remedy to that. She talks about examples of successful businesses utilizing her process or her course, and really talks about what life looks like after using her course to help reiterate the bashing of those misconceptions in a way. Again, these have been all super long form captions, as you can see. So you could do really any form of content type with the long form caption. This one's a little bit shorter. It's just a really quick, direct, hey, my shop's open. You can pre-order these cups. Go check them out. These cups of hers always sell out super quick. So people are just, as soon as she posts, they're all in a rush to get there. It's super simple. Picture of a product. She's holding it. Doesn't have to show her face. It's just super simple, and just keeps it to the point. Pro tip: you don't have to post every day in your feed to be successful on Instagram. posting 2 to 3 times a week is sufficient when you're planning and being strategic this way. If you're just posting stuff that's really disconnected and not really on like a theme or an editorial kind of calendar, there could be some disconnect with your audience. But when you're being strategic, 2 to 3 times a week really is sufficient and effective. Stories can be more frequent. They don't have to be as polished as your Instagram, your feed posts are, but stories are a little bit more engaging at this point anyway. So that's kind of where we would like to put more effort into. And those, again, they don't have to be as polished. They can be more fun. They can still reiterate what's in your feed, just in a different way, just in like a more personal way, because you're chatting about it, showing your face, and directly speaking to it. So engaging with your audience through comments. This is where we really want to show up and be of service to our audience. It really strengthens relationships with your current audience, your current customers, when we're responding to them and like we're showing that we see them there in our feed and we really want to acknowledge them. It may feel weird at first if you haven't started doing this really, but we really do want to focus on creating a community and connecting with our audience in this way. Connecting, we can connect with new and potential customers too. If you've got someone new that's not really following you, they found you through someone else or through the Explore page, and they just had a question, or they really liked what you posted and just had something to say, we really want to respond and keep them engaged as much as we can through that, and maybe we can get a follow after that. It's interesting, this stat, 150 million people on Instagram have a conversation with a business every month. That is crazy. That just blows my mind. Mobile messaging has become a part of our everyday lives, especially with businesses now. It's so integral, and we really need to step up as businesses and not take this for granted, because being this close to our customers really gives us the opportunity to build trust and engage with them as a small business, where we maybe couldn't have before. So keep that in mind as you're engaging with people on Instagram. It has really leveled the playing field as far as building a business on Instagram, and I think it's really important to remember that. Okay, so engaging outside of your account. So this is where we get into growth strategies. I know a lot of people want to know how do I grow my Instagram following? How do I get more people to follow me? This is a great way to do it. This is going to be something that shouldn't take more than 15 to 20 minutes out of your day. I don't recommend automating this by using bots or a third-party service. I would really recommend that you do it yourself, so you can see really who you're engaging with. You can test who you're engaging with, and really get strategic about who your target market is. So let's dive in. Hashtags. Hashtags are super easy to find. I'm sure you're already using some on your posts. With this strategy, we want to think about hashtags that our audience might be following. Target accounts. These could be competitors, not in a direct business kind of way, but more of along the lines of they do something similar to what you do. They could be in a different state, if you don't necessarily serve people super locally, anything along those lines. Complementary brands and fun favorites. So again, we're really looking for accounts that our audience is following or could be following. And finally, places. This one's really underutilized, I find. A lot of people skip this one, but this one's super easy. It's really just places where you think your target audience is hanging out. So it could be a neighborhood, it could be a coffee shop, it could be a certain city. Anything like that is a great way to find your target audience. Okay, so let's chat hashtags for a bit. There's more to just hashtags than using them on your content. You can use them to find more people to follow you and really engage and build a community around your business. So industry specific are going to be specific to a niche or an industry. You really want to think about who your target audience is. What do they do as a career? If you're a photographer and you work with small business owners, you could check out the hashtag small business owner, and really dive into that and see how well you do as far as engagement there. Branded, this could be a specific brand that you know your audience already follows, they already really love and trust. Product is obviously a product, more specific than brand, but an actual product. If you're a makeup artist and you know your audience really loves a specific product from a specific brand, or if you're selling makeup or anything like that, that's a big market there for product hashtags. Interests, so these are a little bit more broad. What are your audience interests? What are their hobbies? What are their side hustles? What are they doing in their free time? And then location, you can also do hashtags. So hashtag Dallas, hashtag Bishop Arts, anything specific like that, we also want to engage with. Once you've identified these hashtags, spend about 5 to 10 minutes engaging with them. This could be liking, this could be commenting. We don't really want to follow any accounts right now unless you really feel like they could be of value to you as like a partner or a collaborator or like anything like that. Follows are very valuable as a business owner, and we don't want to follow too many accounts versus our own audience and follower. So keep following to a minimum. Target accounts. So 3 types again are competitors, complementary accounts, and fun favorites. So really we want to find where our audience is already hanging out and they're already following these different accounts. Again, competitors aren't necessarily direct competitors. They just may have our target audience already following them that we want to acquire ourselves. It's a great place to start when we're trying to build our following. So complementary accounts. So if you offer a certain service, say you offer web design, you can look at accounts that do copywriting, graphic design, social media management, anything that kind of completes like a whole that your audience may have in their business. All of those people are going to need a mixture of these types of services. So that's a good way to think about complementary accounts that you can target. And then fun favorites. This one doesn't necessarily have to be directly related to your account or your niche. This is just a fun one that people really enjoy. If you know your audience loves dogs and they love a specific breed, go for it. Test it out and see what happens. Again, the idea here is not to engage with these accounts, but the followers of these accounts. So essentially what you would do is find one of these target accounts, dive into their posts, see who their engaged likers, commenters are, and then engage with those likers and commenters. So, did I cover that? Yes, okay. And then geolocation or places. Again, this is one of the most underutilized growth options that I see. Really, you should be using a place or geolocation on all of your posts as well. But when we target these for audience building, we want to look at city, neighborhood, coffee shop, museums, places where they're hanging out, they're visiting. Right now, this may not be as important, or that's not the word. It may not be as pertinent to do these, this one right now, but once the COVID's over, like once we've kind of gone through this, this will be a really good way to find, because people are going to be wanting to get out and about and really get on with their lives. So the goal when we're engaging outside of our account is to have the people we're engaging with come back to our account and engage with us, see what we're all about, checking in, seeing what we're doing, who we are, things like that. The more people we kind of get coming to our profile, the better the chances that they're going to leave a comment, engage with us on our account, and then follow hopefully soon after that. Engagement best practice. This is really important. So you really want to start these, if you can, start engaging with these tactics right before or right after you have a post scheduled or you are about to post. So this will draw traffic back to your account. They'll interact with your most recent post, most likely. And then by doing so, all that active engagement really quickly on your most recent posts is going to push that post higher in the priority wise in Instagram's eyes. They'll show that post to more of your own followers, and it could get featured on the explore page from whatever hashtags or location that you have tagged with that post. So keep this in mind. You'll see a lot of good engagement when you do it this way. If you can, it's just, it'll really push that post up and get it the most engagement that you could possibly get. So this is some of the questions that I get pretty often, why you may not be seeing stable growth just yet. So you may not be targeting the right follower for the content that you are creating. If you know your content is solid, it's right on brand, it's not really off for what you're targeting or what you're shooting for, then it may be the type of follower that you're targeting that isn't quite matching up. In reverse, you could be creating the wrong content for the right follower that you want. Like if you really have done the research and you know who your follower is, your ideal follower, who you want to attract back to your account, it could be the content that you're creating isn't right for them, which you can easily change and test that. Just some simple tweaks. You could be engaging outside of your account too soon. If you are just building your business, you haven't quite nailed down who you are, what you want to do, you kind of hop around different things, or if you're too broad in general, you could be too soon in the process to really start engaging outside of your account. You're not in a place in your business where what you're offering is at the quality that your audience really needs right now. that kind of goes along with the third one. If you're offering a product and if it's not quite there yet or not quite honed in enough, try and take a step back, ask questions to the people. If you've had any current purchases or if your current follower is, you can ask them and see exactly what they expect from you, what they're looking for, and kind of poll them for some information there. Also, if you're promoting 24/7, people are going to go numb to that information. They're not going to really be ready to hear anything else other than static from you at that point. That's why we want to really be strategic on the content that we share leading up to a promotional post. We really want to prep and lay the groundwork to then make a direct offer to sell and for them to buy something. So here are some recent updates that I came across. Instagram Live for desktop. You can now view live videos on desktop, which is kind of cool. I think the user experience is a lot better. Unfortunately, there's no way to create and post lives from desktop right now. Instagram has mentioned that they are trying to make things easier to manage from desktop, not necessarily completely move to desktop, but helping manage your business and your account from desktop is one of their goals right now. Instagram Direct for desktop and mobile. So this is something that they released in the last couple of weeks. If you're getting a lot of direct messages and you really don't want to manage them on your phone within the Instagram app, there's two ways you could do this. You can download the Facebook page manager app, or you can log on to if you've got a business account that is hooked up to a Facebook page, you would log into your Facebook page like you normally would, and then go to the inbox where all your Instagram messages and Facebook messages would be. So you can quickly respond to all the direct messages or DMs and move on with your day. Again, this is something that they released just in the last couple of weeks. So if you're not getting a lot of DMs right now, you should be okay. But if there's something you're interested in the long run and saving time and really batching things out, this could be a good tool for you to utilize. Gift cards, food order, and donation buttons and stickers were released recently. This is really cool. I think the gift cards, both the gift card and the food order button, you would have to integrate with a third-party service, but the fact that they have this, I think it'll stick around for a while and people will use it. If you're a business account, you'll have these options. If you're not seeing it and you do have a business account, make sure your Instagram app is up to date. You may not see it there if it's not up to date. So be sure it's up to date, and then you'll see those pop up. Story stickers, they do the same thing as these buttons do, just a really fun way to help support local businesses. Okay, again, the top scheduling tool that I recommend is Slator. It's just super easy to set up, navigate. It's they have a free plan that is amazing. I highly recommend it. And then secondly, follow Instagram for Business. They have a ton of good tutorials and resources going on right now. They're really stepping up and helping support small businesses. As I said, they're creating these new features and they're hosting workshops daily. They'll post a schedule, I think in the stories, and then each day they'll post a mini article or like a little tech tutorial. Lots of good things there. Do what you can consistently. So you don't need to be doing all the things all at once. Do what you can and keep consistent at it, and you'll see growth within your Instagram account and success in your business. So just do what you can right now. I wanted to chat about this real quick. If you feel like you've gotten a really good game plan set in place, you've got all the basics nailed down, but you still feel weird about selling, I've created this blueprint that really lays it out step by step for you guys. It's a 7-day launch plan. It talks about picking what your offer could be, or creating it if need be, planning out your launch, promote or positioning your product, and then pitching it, promoting it. So it really makes things easier. It's a step by step, day by day, super easy. Takes all the funkiness and the questions out of it. So like I said, pick your offer, make a plan, position your offer, promote and make sales. And quick overview of what's in it. You get a launch checklist, story scripts, pitch writing guide. All these goodies are in the guide. But let's go ahead and jump into some Q&A. Here we go.
Do you see the Q&A?
Yes. Yes. Okay, the question is, where do you recommend to get reliable statistics about buying habits so we can keep ourselves updated? This is really just from what I'm seeing on Facebook, like people asking for local recommendations and really wanting to support local businesses. So I don't really have a set website or source for this information. It was just trends I'm seeing on social media.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions for Ashley? Ashley, I just now exited out of the screen and I can't see the Q&A.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, there's one more that just popped up. Should you use the same hashtags all the time? Good question. I like to change out hashtag groups, so I'll craft 3 different hashtag groups that I'll use interchangeably. You can use up to 30 on a single post, which I recommend. If you can get a group that has all 30 in it, use all 30. You can even mix in a different ones and create a new group, but
and Ashley,
that's what I would recommend.
I know you've talked about Later as your favorite platform for scheduling your posts. Does Later allow you to save hashtag groups?
It does. Okay. Yes. Yeah, it does.
Right. So that's one of the a big difference between posting live from the Instagram app, where you're trying to remember all your hashtags, and after a while you can kind of get tired and peter out at 5. But
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the one workaround that I used to do before I started using Later was I saved it was a keyboard shortcut. So I saved a keyboard shortcut for a specific group of hashtags. It was really technical and it really unnecessary. I didn't really use it after a while. But Later you can save hashtags. Another platform that unfortunately does not have a free account is Iconosquare. You can actually test hashtag groups and test their engagement, which is kind of cool. But how many hashtags are too many hashtags? So the max you can have on a post is 30. I recommend using all 30 if you can, and then changing them out as every so often, like I mentioned before. Is there an app to drop them in so you don't have to type them out each time? Good question. So I don't know if there's an app, but you can Google how to create a keyboard shortcut and save them in your notes and do it that way. I don't remember exactly the steps I took to do it. It was a while ago, but that's how I did it if I was posting from my phone. Is it okay to tag galleries or collectors? Yes, I think if you're spamming them with tagging them, but if you have a relationship with them in some way, I would say go for it, or at least make the effort to build a relationship with them and then tag them. That's how I would approach it.
Yeah, I would say be careful with that in general. I think that gallerists are always really wary of getting
like associated with.
Yeah, it's really hard. We should do a webinar about it one day, but it's a tricky thing because the structure and the etiquette that's built around artists and galleries sort of prevents the situation of the artist like coming up to the gallerist and saying, hey, this is my work, this is what I have. I used to work in a gallery and I was sort of told to not
really
kind of put that stuff aside, because it's usually the opposite, that the gallerist is looking to find you and they don't want you to be looking to find them. So the trick is how to make yourself more easily found. I would say like one example might be that like if a gallerist you like happens to be curating a show, like I know Erin Cluley, who represents a lot of local artists, so a lot of local artists want to be represented by Erin. She curated just like a little art show that the Galleria was putting on that I think a lot of artists wouldn't normally think to apply to like a shopping mall's call for art, but she saw all those applicants, you know what I mean? So I think there might be better ways to try to put yourself out there.
That is good information. Okay. How do you feel galleries interact on Instagram? Do you think they're approachable there or just more the traditional ways?
I think that they are. I think that like if you can, I don't know, like if you have a friend if you have a friend that's represented by that gallery and therefore that gallery follows your friend, maybe your friend can post a studio shot from your studio. That can be a way to get like, you know, and then I think just always having, I mean, one of the tricky things that you sort of talked about, Ashley, with having a curated feed is, and like telling a story on your feed, is that if the gallerist then sees something that you've posted on Instagram that they're interested in, and then they go back to your account, this is why a lot of artists will have a separate art account from a personal account if they like to do a lot of selfies or like post their lunch, or, you know, nothing's wrong with that. But if a gallerist goes to your account and all they can see is that, and they have to really search for your work, then it's going to be a little harder for them to sort of like take a deep dive into your practice.
Gotcha. Okay. So let me rephrase my answer then. I would interact with the galleries and collectors as much as you can in a meaningful way, and have kind of pull them back to your account through that engagement that you're doing.
Yeah, like a thoughtful comment on one of their posts, you know, that could be something that maybe they'll go. I know for the Cedars Union account, I almost always look at if someone made a comment, and I mean, we don't get like 100 comments per post or anything, but I usually go to that account and see who it was that made a comment. So I think that there's something there.
Especially if it's related to the like either the content in the caption or in the image or the video. If it shows that they took the time to look at the content, review the caption, and then like comment on the post, that's going to be more meaningful for sure. In general, how much engagement comes from hashtags? This is going to depend on the type of hashtags that you're using. If you're using really large hashtags, you probably won't see a ton of engagement. And even if you do get engagement from hashtags, you won't be able to see exactly which specific ones. It's going to depend on how big your account is for one, and then the hashtag that you're using. I really don't recommend using hashtags that have more than 350,000 results associated with them at this point if your account's pretty small. Once you kind of get higher in your following count, then you can go for those bigger hashtags. But right now, a lot of people aren't there yet, so I recommend smaller hashtags. But you can see the engagement per post that you're getting per hashtag, not per hashtag, I'm sorry, but from hashtags. If you dive in, if you have a business account, you dive into your account, go to that post, and then view the analytics on it. You can see what traffic came from hashtags, what traffic came from the home feed, people who are already following you, things like that. So it's gonna vary how big your account is and how big the hashtags you're using are.
I think to add to that, actually, processes or like media are often good hashtags. I think more people will search like light-based art than like Dallas artists sometimes. Not to say that you shouldn't do both, because you want to try everything, right? You have 30 to fill. I find like if you have a specific tool that you're using, like if you really like gouache, or there's like even a certain brand of like paint.
Brands are good.
Those are good ideas. Aside from like the really big general ones.
Right. You do want to get kind of specific if you can, versus like digital art, or like what if you're using a specific app for your digital art, or a certain tool within or preset or anything like that. Kind of break it down a little bit more than general items. Okay. Did you have anything else to add to that before we go to the next question? Okay. Where should artists look for new customers? This is a really good question. I feel like a lot of people want to know the same thing, and a lot of this is going to be through your target accounts. So we mentioned earlier complementary accounts. We mentioned competitor accounts, and the fun favorite. So those accounts and those followers of that account, those are going to be your potential new customers that you really want to target. So you really want to get a list of target accounts that you can start engaging with their followers to really build your new customer base. And if you feel kind of stuck on where to look, maybe look for people in your area that you know have the same audience as you do, and kind of see who their follower base is. We really want to look at the engaged users again. So with those target accounts, we would go to that account, look at their most recent post, who liked it, who commented, go into those people's profiles, like, comment, engage with them, and hopefully we can pull them back to ours, and eventually they'll make a purchase. So hope that answered your question. Should you post the same new painting on all social media and your website? Yeah, you totally could do that. I don't see anything wrong with that. You could do maybe different ways to present it for each medium that you're posting. So if you want to do like a process process slideshow or carousel or video for Instagram, and then still shots for your website. You could do styled shots for Pinterest. There's a lot of different ways you could go about it, but yes, I would post the same new painting across all of those to really get the most engagement and coverage you can for that specific piece that is new. Another good thing you could do is sit down and like record yourself or do a live talking about the painting, your process, the inspiration, anything like that that kind of led you to create that piece would be great content to share as well. I have noticed that people tend to like pics more when there is a person or an animal on them. And when I post only my art, it's less engaging. Any tips or comments on this? Yes. If you're seeing a trend like that, definitely ride that trend and give the people what they want, really. Start getting more styled shots, creating more styled shots. Animals I think are always going to get more engagement just because they're cute. So if you could get fun with any of your pics with your dog or your cat or anything like that, just kind of be fun with it. But I think styled shots really kind of, I don't know, they bring it a different kind of vibe that I think people really gravitate towards. So I know there's a lot of mock-ups that you can download and kind of place your piece into if that would be something that you'd be interested in, because if maybe you can't have the kind of styled shot that you want wherever you are, that's another option that you could go and try. Did you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I find that studio shots are also often successful. So
behind the scenes, yeah.
Yeah, but anything that kind of shows, like what Ashley was talking about earlier in content, that kind of like discloses your process, personifies it. But it also gives context to your artwork. So like just a close-up photo of the painting is great, but then to see it in the context of something else where someone can kind of tell the scale, see the color differently, those are good things.
Yeah.
And if it's an account for your art, then you want to be careful. Like, even though a photo of yourself is really great, you just want to make sure you sort of like make sure you're posting your art frequently enough where you're, again, if that gallerist goes to your page, they're not only seeing photos of like you and what you did last weekend.
Yeah, like your balance. Your piece should be the focus of the photo. I feel like you could be in it. I've seen a lot of good shots that I really gravitated towards. I think it looked like it was in a gallery setting, but it was just their piece on the wall and the artist just standing there. But it worked. I mean, it still showed scale, still showed color. It was great. Studio selfies, any thoughts? Is it a good idea, or is it better to be more professional? I as Adrienne's kind of talking about, more geared towards galleries and collectors, I think kind of doing like an introduction post, I think would be great for a studio selfie. Really telling your background, kind of telling more about yourself, your process. I think that's a good route to go. Again, you don't want to be the main focus of your feed. You want your work to be the main focus of your feed, but posting studio selfies every now and then as an introduction post would be great.
Yeah, and you can still show your personality. Like, don't be afraid to show your personality through your feed in some ways. Like, I wouldn't, just because a selfie isn't like, you didn't have a fellow photographer come in and like do your lighting and get a like headshot. It offers something very different, right? So it's a little more laid back.
Yeah. No more questions. Thank you guys for coming and joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much. Like I said, next week we have another webinar about how best practices of selling your art online. Heads up, that will be given by 2 lawyers, so there will definitely be an emphasis on like what you need to do to like set yourself up legally, copyright wise, whatnot, before you start to sell your work online. Also, Ashley, I can share your contact with the registrants. Ashley does a really affordable and very approachable Instagram marketing, like what is it, like a 3-part class that she can give people.
Yeah, it was one-on-one coaching. Yeah.
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Even though I will say you can't tell because we're on a webinar, but Ashley's also 8 months pregnant right now. So if you do contact her and she doesn't get back to you right away, that's fine.
Which is why I created this blueprint, which I forgot to share the link with you guys. If anyone's interested, just write in the Q&A or the chat that I can just send it to you guys. But thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Marianne. We had one more question pop up. What should we write in the description? Do you mean your caption or like your bio on your profile? I need a little bit more info on that question. Okay, bio. There's a lot of different ways you could go about this. It's good to note that your bio is searchable within Instagram. So whatever content keywords you put in there is gonna help you show up when someone searches, say, Dallas artist, Dallas photographer. So you wanna be strategic with things like that in there. But really you wanna say what you do, who you serve, maybe where you serve, like who, if you're local specific, where, how they can work with you, if you've got your website link, if you've got a newsletter sign up, how they can contact you or work with you in some way. Those are the top kind of bases I would cover within your bio. And then if you're looking at your bio, the text field that's below your profile image, that is your account name. That is also searchable within Instagram. I would recommend utilizing keywords there as well versus reiterating your username. So say if you have your personal name in that field, I would change that to Dallas photographer, digital artist, something along those lines, because that is also searchable. Any more questions? Thank you guys. Glad you enjoyed it. Yes, let me grab this link real quick. It is discounted for you guys. Sorry. So feel free to take a look. Where can I put this? Can I put it in the chat?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can put it in the chat, and then Ashley, if you email it to me, I can also add it to my email. So everybody, I will send you an email in the morning, and it will have a link to this webinar on demand if you want to like fast forward to any of those slides. Also, if you feel like someone you know would have benefited from this, you can they can still register on our calendar. So that registration will be open, and then that way they can still receive the on-demand link.
Okay. There was another question in the chat from Teresa. what do you mean by smaller hashtags? Can you give an example for a DFW artist? So smaller hashtag meaning the number of results that pop up when you do search that hashtag. So if I search dog, there's probably going to be like 300 million images with that hashtag in it. So we would want to look for maybe more breed specific, like husky, or I saw or came across a new breed today, a Saluki, which is a very fancy looking dog, but that likely will have a smaller amount of results or posts with that specific hashtag versus the more broad dog hashtag. So hopefully you're still on, and hopefully that answers your question. Thank you guys so much. Okay, she's still on. Good. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you. See y'all.